Hi guys, long time no see. I just wanted to show you guys. I know it's been a while, and so far I've had multiple classes along with a bunch of assignments, and it's just all been so overwhelming. So I've been busy trying to figure those things out, and yeah, right now at this point I'm just beginning to get a effective way of learning for myself. I'm still learning, what's the best way for me to learn for this program. And I'm noticing I'm taking the recordings, like recording the teacher has been helping me a lot to just record and go back to what I've heard thus far. Of course, I make sure I get permission from the teacher. You always want to do that just to protect yourself and also helping them to know, okay, I might want to use this language opposed to, say, a language I wouldn't use if someone wasn't going to be listening back anything I said. So it's always good to let them know, or and ask them, is it okay? Are you okay? Are you comfortable with me recording you? And so far, all of my teachers are. So it's been great to be able to record them and actually go home, listen back to what they said, incorporate it with my reading, and then take note to what I actually need to remember, or what I haven't gotten thus far. So yeah, so I've had my lecture time and lab time. My first day of lab, we got our kits. I'll show you the kit. This is the kit that we got, and it came with everything we're going to need from first semester to our very last semester before we graduate. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys what we're doing, what we're actually using week by week from the kit. So this time I'm going to be showing you guys what we used last week and what we're using so far this week. Last week from the kit, let's see. Oh, last week we went over PPE, which is your personal protective equipment that you use for patients who are in isolation, and you're probably going to get body fluids on you, you don't want to get it on your gown, on your scrubs or anything. So you're going to use what's called PPE, personal protective equipment. And so we went over the proper way of using those and discarding those. So yeah, this is the PPE that came into our bags, And it just has a gown, disposable gloves, mask, and cap, disposable, and disposable shoe covers. But although they're disposable, we will not dispose of them. We will continue to use what's in this pack. It's our pack to keep, and it's just for practice purposes. It's not like we're going to be literally using them on an isolated patient. So, and that's what we used last week, and we just went over, the proper way of doing that. Also, last week we went over handling bedpans and which bedpan we're going to use. Are we going to use a fracture pan, or are we going to use a regular bedpan? And we just went over, different scenarios in which we would use the two and actually how to use them. Me, my partner, and other students and their partners, we all went into the lab, and they had beds throughout, and we all practiced on with each other, using the bedpan and making sure we said the things we needed to say pre, during, and post, and did the things we needed to do pre, during, and post with the bedpans and things like that. After that, in lab, we got on to our input and output portion of the lecture, and that's when we practice our taking, like, the urinal, or the, I can't think of the name of it right now, but the little bags, that the catheter that goes into the little urine bags, and you actually that's where you go and you put it into the container that you can measure urine output in. we practiced that, and they just had these little bags, the actual bags that had like fake urine. It wasn't real urine, but just fake urine in it. And we went to those little bags and we used them the proper way. We said the things we needed to say to the patient. You know, we just went through the scenario and acted as if we were in the real life setting. And so, yeah, we learned what, we learned CCs versus mLs, which are the pretty much measured in the same way. 1 cc is virtually 1 milliliter. I'm sorry. 1 cc equals 1 milliliter. So we made sure that we cannot use cc anymore. It is universal that you do not use cc's anymore in a hospital setting. You must use milliliters as your recording. So do not record your outputs and stuff like that in cc's. Always record it in mLs, milliliters. They are the same thing, but make sure when you say that number, say you have 100 cc's, make sure you convert it to the 100 mLs in your recordings. We do not use cc's anymore. mLs are our universal hospital measurement that we use for output and things like that. So anyway, yeah, that's what we did then. And today we practice our blood pressure and things like that. And basically, we did lecture over vital signs. And after she got to pulse, we practiced our pulse. After she got to respirations, we practiced our respirations. And again, we went over what we do pre, during, and post of how to do it and what to say at those times. So when it came to blood pressure, we all had to get our own, like pretty much everything came in our kit except for our stethoscope, which we had to get ourselves because they felt like everybody has a different want when it comes to what type of stethoscope they want. So they left that up to us. Either we could have used the ones they had in the clinical, in the lab itself, or we could have go out and buy our own. And a choice, the majority of us went out and got our own. I think the whole class went out and got their own. And it was interesting to try to find the correct, well, not correct, but interesting to try to find a stethoscope for me, because it was just like, I had no idea how high in the price range these things are, but it is somewhat ridiculous, the price range of a stethoscope. I don't know what all entails to make a stethoscope, and maybe if I knew, it wouldn't be so ridiculous to me. But anytime you're asking me for $300 and $400 for a stethoscope, that is just out of this world crazy to me. And yeah, so that's the kind of things that I was finding online and different places. And I was like, no, there's got to be something, because I'm always about reasonable prices and trying to get the most bang for my buck at the same time. So I made sure I did my research. I looked at different places. I went to different places, looked at different sites as far as stethoscopes go. And I found from every site and every place I went, they ranged from that 300 to even to as low as like 25, something like that. So I found the one. So I looked at the description of the stethoscopes in my price range, which I was willing to pay, and that was about the 50s to the 20s mark. Is the range at which I was willing to pay. So I stuck to that price range when looking for one. And anytime I saw that price range on the stethoscope, I looked at the stethoscope itself and made sure it had everything I would want, in a stethoscope, and made sure it was up to par and standards of everything I need to do in the clinical setting, in the nursing program. So say some of them are just pediatric versus some of them are pediatric and adult. I made sure I could do both. I made sure everything I felt like every range I needed to touch, I could do it with one stethoscope. So yeah, I found mine on overstock.com. This is part one of part 2 of my videos. I'll be back.